Yeah, because I'm speechless.
That never
right?
happens.
And when you look at this Spurs team, they're young, but you know what Granny used to say, God rest her soul. They're young, but they got old souls.
Baby.
They got old souls. They got old souls. Anybody that was watching that game last night saw a team that was playing unselfish basketball, losing themselves in the team, and it started with Wemby.
The San Antonio Spurs are 5-0. Victor Wembanyama is averaging 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks, while shooting 60% from the field.
Wembanyama catching, ripping through, and a 360 layup. Unreal.
And they're doing this without De'Aaron Fox and without Jeremy Sohan. The Spurs have the second best defense in the entire league. And let me tell you something, this isn't a fluke. This isn't some cute little rebuild story. The Spurs are becoming a problem, and the rest of the NBA better start paying attention. When the Spurs beat Miami 107-101, that was their 5th straight win to open the season, the first time in franchise history. Think about that for a second. Tim Duncan played there for 19 years, 5 championships, all those legendary teams. Never once did they start 5-0 until now. What we're seeing in San Antonio right now, this isn't normal, guys. A 7'5" center handling the ball like a guard, a couple of young guys sharing point guard duties, and a defense that's making teams scared to even attack the rim. All right, let's talk about Victor Wembanyama, because this man is a problem for the entire league right now. 30 points, 14.6 rebounds, and 4.8 blocks per game. He's shooting 60% from the field, that's 7th in the NBA in scoring, and leading the entire league in rebounds and blocks. But those numbers, they don't even come close to telling the whole story. Against Miami, Wemby put up 27 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks, and a steal. He was the best player on the court, and it wasn't even close. Bam Adebayo is a good player, but Wembanyama made him look like he was playing in a different league. But here's what's changed from last year. Remember when Wemby would jack up 8-9 threes a game? That version is gone. This summer, he trained with Hakeem Olajuwon, and you can see Hakeem in his game now. The footwork, the post moves, the patience. He's putting the ball on the floor like a guard. At 7'5", he's moving like Kevin Durant. Defenders have no answer for it. And then on defense, this is where it gets really scary. It's not even the blocks. I mean, yeah, he's swatting 5 shots a game, but the real impact is what players aren't even trying anymore. They see him in the paint and they panic. Guards are driving baseline, seeing Wemby rotate over and literally throwing the ball out of bounds rather than challenging. That's fear. That's what Wembanyama does to offenses. We've never seen a player like this. The combination of size, timing, reflexes, and IQ. There's nothing comparable in NBA history. Now here's where this gets really interesting. Because as good as Wembanyama is, and trust me, he's that good, this isn't a one-man show. The Spurs are deeper than anyone expected. And these young guys, they're not just playing well, they're playing winning basketball. Let's start with Stephon Castle. This kid is in his 2nd year after winning Rookie of the Year, and he's out here looking like he's been in the league for 5 years.
In that game, Castle with time and space, and Shelley put it on a roll.
Against Miami, Castle put up 21 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 steals. On the season, he's averaging 18.8 points, 6 boards, and 5.4 assists per game. For a 2nd-year guard, those numbers are ridiculous. But it's not even about the stats with him. It's the defense, the decision-making, the poise. He's reading pick and rolls like a vet, jumping passing lanes, and making the right play every time down the floor. Devin Vassell is having the best stretch of his career right now. He's scoring 16.8 points per game and shooting 40.5% from 3 on 8 attempts a night. That volume matters because when teams collapse on Wemby, somebody's got to make them pay. Vassell's been doing exactly that. He had 17 points and 9 rebounds against Miami, and he's been consistently good all season long. Dylan Harper has come in and is contributing right away. He came off the bench against Brooklyn and dropped 20 points. Now he's a regular part of the rotation, averaging 14.4 points per game. And we can't forget about Keldon Johnson. This could have been a problem. Former starter moves to the bench. That usually causes some drama. Not with Keldon. He's bought in completely, bringing energy every time he checks in, still putting up almost 12 points a night with 5.8 rebounds in fewer minutes. That's the kind of team-first mentality that wins games. The depth on this roster is legit. You've got Castle, Harper, and Fox when he returns, handling point guard duties. Vassell and Barnes providing shooting and scoring. Johnson, Sohan, and Cornette giving you size and defense when they're healthy. And Wemby in the middle, controlling everything. That's 9 deep, minimum. Now you can't talk about these Spurs without talking about their defense, because right now, they've got the second best defense in the league. The Spurs are giving up 103.8 points per game. That's number 1 in the NBA. Their defensive rating is a plus 14.4, number 2 in the NBA. Opponents are shooting 42% from the field against them, and inside the arc, teams are only hitting 46% on 2-pointers. That's the best in the league. Last year, San Antonio was middle of the pack defensively. So what changed? Sean Sweeney. The Spurs hired him away from Dallas in the offseason. And this man has completely transformed what they do on that end. If you watch the Mavs finals run, you saw what Sweeney can do with the right pieces. Now, he's got Wembanyama to build around and has created something special. The system is actually pretty simple. Those long athletic guards, Castle, Vassell, Harper, they're pressuring the ball on the perimeter. Everything gets funneled towards the middle. And who's waiting there? A 7'5" shot blocker who's averaging 5 blocks a game.
Nice powerful jumper.
Mitchell and Wembanyama, the Grim Reaper. Wemby on the other end, banks it in.
But here's the thing that makes this defense so suffocating. Teams know the scheme, they know where Wembanyama is, and they still can't score. Ball handlers get past their defender, have what looks like a clear path, then Wemby rotating over, the hesitation, the panic, the bad passes. It's happening every single game. The whole team has bought into it. Rotations are crisp, communication is constant, everyone knows their assignment. When you've got a rim protector like Wembanyama anchoring everything, it makes everyone else's job easier. Guards can pressure more because they know if someone gets by them, there's a safety net waiting. This is the second best defense in basketball right now, and Wembanyama is the biggest reason why. And here's the crazy part. Everything I just talked about, the elite defense, the scoring, the depth, the Spurs are doing all of this without De'Aaron Fox and Jeremy Sohan. Think about that for a second. De'Aaron Fox hasn't played a single minute this season. The all-star point guard they traded for last season is still working his way back. Jeremy Sohan, one of their best defenders, is also sidelined. So when you're watching these games, when you see them dominating teams, just remember, this isn't even their final form. Fox gives them another dynamic scorer who can get his own shot and run the offense. Sohan gives them more size, more defensive versatility, another guy who can switch onto multiple positions. Think about what this roster looks like when everyone's healthy. You've got Fox, Castle and Harper in the backcourt, Vassell and Barnes providing elite shooting, Sohan, Johnson and Cornette giving you toughness and defense, and Wembanyama controlling everything in the middle. That's 9 deep, minimum, with guys who can actually play. Most young teams fall apart when key players go down. The Spurs have gotten better. That tells you everything about the system Johnson and his coaching staff have built. And it tells you about the buy-in from these young guys. When Fox and Sohan come back, this team goes from really good to potentially scary. We're talking about a roster that can compete with anyone in the Western Conference. The rest of the league is starting to notice. ESPN had the Spurs ranked 16th before the season started, and just a little over a week into the season, they've jumped 10 spots to number 6. That's the kind of leap you make when you're not just winning, but dominating. They're tied for first place in the Western Conference right now. They've got the second best point differential in the entire NBA at a plus 14.4. The Spurs aren't flying under the radar anymore. Everyone knows what's happening in San Antonio now. But let's talk about what this really means, because just a couple of years ago, the Spurs won 22 games. They were tanking, everybody knew it. They had Wembanyama coming, so yeah, the future looked bright. But nobody, and I mean nobody, thought they'd be here this fast. Last season, they won 34 games. Wembanyama missed half the year. The team showed flashes, but they weren't competitive most nights. You'd see them look really good for a quarter, then completely fall apart. It was a rebuilding team doing rebuilding team things. This year, this looks different. They're winning, and they're winning convincingly. They're imposing their will on opponents. And when you're holding teams under 105 points per game in 2025, you're doing something right. But can they keep this up over 82 games? That's a fair question. Will Wembanyama's body hold up to this kind of usage? Will the young guys hit a wall? These are things we need to watch. But here's what we know right now. The system is working, the star is ascending, the depth looks real, and the momentum is building. This was supposed to be a fun young team that will compete for a playoff spot if things went well. Instead, we're looking at a team that might make some serious noise in a loaded Western Conference, with the second best defense in basketball and a legitimate superstar leading the way. The San Antonio Spurs are a problem, not a storyline, not a feel-good rebuild, an actual, legitimate problem for every team in this league that has championship aspirations. Victor Wembanyama is putting up 30 and 14 while protecting the rim at an elite level. He's playing like an MVP candidate in year 3. The defense under Sean Sweeney is suffocating. The young guys are stepping up in major ways. Stephon is playing like a vet. Devin Vassell is knocking down threes. And Dylan Harper is contributing off the bench. The whole roster has bought in, and they're doing all of this without Fox and Sohan. When those guys come back, this team goes from dangerous to potentially scary. You're looking at a roster that's 9 deep, 10 deep with guys who can play real minutes. 5 years from now, we might look back at this 5-0 start as the moment everyone realised the Spurs were back. Not the Big 3 era, not the Duncan years, a new era, the Wembanyama era. And if you're a fan of the other 29 teams in this league, you better start paying attention to what's happening in San Antonio. Because the Spurs aren't rebuilding anymore, they've arrived. So what do you think? Are the Spurs for real? Or is this just a hot start that'll cool off by Christmas? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think Wemby could win MVP, hit that like button. Subscribe for more NBA breakdowns. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these ones on your screen now.